Whenever I come down to the marina, it just takes me back to those moments of wandering around it with my granddad and hearing the stories about how he first came up with the idea and put it forward. And it's that lovely nostalgia, isn't it? It just takes you back and just gives you that sense of pride that, you know, there's something of my family in this area. And I think so many people in Sefton will have a story like that. There's something in this area that's part of us. My name's Jo. I grew up in Waterloo in Sefton and I now live in Litherland, and one of my favourite things about living in Sefton is just the history from my family, really. So back in the 60s there was apparently a meeting where they were planning what to do with this space, and it was held in a high-rise where you could look out across the land. And one of the main ideas that was put forward was to have football fields here. And while my granddad loved football, he was very conscious of, you know, sports that included everyone. And one reason for that is because my dad's disabled, and so often sports like football are things that my dad struggled with. And my granddad was very passionate about water sports. He was captain of his own sailing club, and you know, he wrote books about swimming. And so when the meeting was happening and people were talking about football fields, my granddad just put forward this idea: why don't we look at doing a boating lake instead with that land there? And so that's eventually the idea that was carried forward, and in the 70s they started to develop the marine lake as it is now. And so it's just the part of Sefton I love the most is the marine lake for that reason. So as I still come down here now with my children, my family, and wander around the lake, I just feel an immense feeling of pride that this was something my granddad put forward, and it has created inclusive physical education for so many people. Years later my dad became a local teacher, and he was able to bring children down here and teach them how to sail on the lake. So the legacy sort of continued through my dad. And so even now, you know, as I live in the area, I love coming down here and just wandering around the lake and just feeling that nostalgia of just knowing this is something that my granddad put forward. It's just such a precious thing. And through COVID and lockdown and that time when the world became a bit strange, you know, and the main thing we could do was go out for a walk. Coming down here for that walk and having the lake to look out on instead of football fields, it became so much more precious again, you know, and just wandering around, I just felt so proud, just thinking this is something that my granddad dreamt up back in the day.